Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into another episode here at the Portcast. Today we have a special guest with us today, and he's going to talk about the great organization that he's a part of. Do you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Rajay Pessoa.
Okay, and where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Bridgeport. I was born in Jamaica. So what happened was I came here when I was 7. So my introduction to America was, it was 2001. So what was that? 9/11. 9/11 had just kind of came up, or it was coming up that fall. So when I got here, it was really my introduction to the country.
Okay, yeah. And how was your upbringing in Jamaica and here in the U.S.?
Jamaica, it was really, it was close-knit. Like, we had a big family. My family is huge, like humongous. In Jamaica, it was very family-oriented. It was very close-knit. When we got here, it was kind of the same concept. Like, we grew up close-knit and like held each other down, but I don't know, things kind of just like separated, you know, and family just had more room. And when people have more room, sometimes they just take advantage of it. So.
Okay. And I also see that you do spoken poetry. How did you get into that?
I started back in high school. I started writing. It was just an expression for me. I started writing. I wrote my first piece. I think it was called the Alphabet Girl. I think I used every letter of the alphabet and like just did something with it. And I don't think I've ever performed that. I just performed my first live piece without reading it just recently, back in maybe July. So that was an exciting time to be able to really just like dedicate the time to the practice, rehearsing, really committing to the art, and I was able to bring that to the stage. But other than that, I've been hosting poetry shows as well.
All right, so let's talk about the organization that you're a part of, Feed the People. Can you give us some background about this organization? How did the organization come about, and what was the need to create a organization such as this?
I saw something on Twitter, on social media, and it was 2 guys that went down to they were in Florida, and it was during quarantine. So, you know, we know how that affected so many people. But these guys were just out there, out the trunk of their car, and they had boxes of pizza, and they had people lined up in an underpass. And they were just they had gloves, masks, everything like that. They just handed out slices, and people were just the people that had less in the community were just so grateful and like happy, because again, you got everybody that was affected by the pandemic. So when I saw that, and I was part of a thing in college where it was called a midnight run, and we would prep sandwiches, like different type of styles, snacks, juice, and then we would drive from, because I went to school in New York, so I went out to Queens, so we would drive from Queens to Manhattan in the middle of the night on certain nights a week, go deliver off some food, and I did that a couple times, so I was like, I liked it. So I took this thing that I saw them doing in Florida. I had the idea from college, and I was like, bro, we got to do something. And somebody put out the status that they were handing out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches under the bridge to somebody that was in the area. And I was like, we could do the same. We could figure it out. And we went out there, shout out to Little Caesars, because they gave us a discount on the pizzas that we bought. We bought a bunch of them for the first feeding. And they gave us a little discount. They hooked us up because they said, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of people need this effort, you know, and we gave the effort, and it started from sandwiches and pizza slices to we started getting care packages, coffees, drinks, a couple clothing materials, blankets, like additional food items to really go out and distribute, not just like set up one place. So it's kind of, and I say this is twofold too, because we do it, we'll set up one place, we'll go mobile, we'll go somewhere, set up station, we'll announce to people that we're gonna be there and things like that. And then whoever we don't reach and whatever we don't serve, we generally will pack it up and just do our like drop-offs. So we'll just split up into teams and try to make the biggest reach as possibly can. We don't have a place that some people come to us. We will pick locations throughout the city and say, hey, we're gonna go even market. So we'll even hand out like flyers ahead of time, notes to say, hey, free food on this day at this location, and then we'll just go there, set up, and distribute to whoever's in the area. We have opportunities to learn and grow in this process, and that's really a fun part right now.
Was there a pivotal moment in your life where you said, hey, I need to get back to community and help those out in need?
Yeah, actually, it was funny because I had a friend, and that friend, like, we were really close at the time, and I remember somebody that they had been like dealing with did something randomly, and they were like, oh, this person is downtown handing out sandwiches and just doing this thing, and I don't got time for it. And in my head, like, I was like, why don't we have time? Like, we got mad time, we got ample time, and we're not doing anything with it. We just walk past people all the time. We literally will just walk past people, and we don't even look at them. We look at them like they're not humans sometimes. And that's not just me and my old friend, but people. It's even harder to get people to look you in the eye nowadays, you know what I'm saying? So to get you to recognize somebody as a human because they're in a lesser, class is more the norm. So I don't know, nothing, like I said, besides that video that sparked the initiative, I kind of felt like it was always kind of in me. I just needed something to bring it out. And so nothing, I guess the pandemic was really the turning point that was like, okay, let's get grounded. That's how we got there.
So when you're doing this great work, what is it that give you that self-gratification?
It's my heart. It's my heart. Feed the People really has my heart because you see gratitude in people's eyes when they don't have anything, and you get a lot of perspective back when you're like, what was I really complaining about? What is my struggle? How deep do I invest in my struggle so that I can feel bad about my struggle? When it's like, bro, just walk down the street. You may not know them from a hole in the wall, but a little compassion goes a long way. Acting like that could be you at any given moment, or we've heard stories like of people's lives that have just been transformed because of bad situations. We're one bad situation away from being right there. We're two bills behind from being back. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like people act as if, again, their focus is so much on our focus because we all fall guilty at some point. But we, have this knack to focus on our world, and we don't want to see anything beyond that. And I think that's the scary part of, where humanity is right now is we're more focused on our differences and what makes us more alike. And I don't know, starting with the community just touches me, seriously. The goal with everything that we're doing, because Feed the People is under an umbrella, and it's it's a branch off of much bigger roots. And so the goal is to live the way that we want to, not the way that we have to. And that goes for everybody. You're living in struggle because you feel like you have to, because no one has lent you resource or shown you resource. Nobody taught you how to fish. Nobody taught you how to do it. So you don't know. You've been put out, you've been left behind. So you don't know. You're struggling, you're coming from a place of survival. You're not really from a place of freedom. You rather live from a mentality of struggle than scarcity than abundance. Like, we have just been subconsciously adapted to these certain mentalities. And it's like, I have a vision of living differently, not just for myself, the people that I come in contact with, the people that are around me, the people that I touch and mentor and am able to get to. I feel like you don't have to live how you feel like you have to. You have options to live how you want to. God didn't put us here to pay bills and die, bro. I don't believe that. Because when I'm gone, the bills are either gonna still be here or somebody else is gonna get them, but I'm not paying bills in heaven. That's just...
And how can people donate to your cause or even volunteer?
So Feed the People right now is on Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook. Like I said, we're in the process of really structuring the back end of the business, the websites and the structures and the marketing, expanding. We were really just feet on the ground. We have been since June of 2021. Our first feeding was November 2020, Thanksgiving, but we were incorporated in the state of Connecticut in June that following year. So since then, we've really just been, boots on the ground, go out, do the work, go back home. As we structure ourselves, because we want to set up our foundation first to be able to bring people in, to be able to bring resources in. So even with donations, we're very ambiguous with the donations right now. People can donate clothes, care packages, non-perishable items. We do have a storage unit that we have access to right now. We have been leveraging. But as far as monetized donations, we try to limit the conversation to a personal understanding, because again, when you deal with nonprofits, you have to have receipts, you have to have structures. People are itemized. These are, tax deductibles, and so you have to have your accountings in order, and your books have got to be in order. You got to have your board. So when it comes to the money right now, people are going to hear about different avenues, how they can contribute, and the different ways as we start our marketing for this year. I would just say, check us out on Facebook, keep up to date with us, and stay tuned for how all of that stuff is going to roll out.
All right, cool. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you give us some of your spoken poetry?
It's called Miracles. Every blessing in my life is a miracle. Never take them for granted. World on my shoulders, try to hold it myself. Left me empty-handed. Almost lost it all, but every loss was a lesson. Speak better to myself these days. Turn every curse to a blessing. Walk a mile in my shoes, but you can never understand it. Passed down through blood, I make do with the gifts I was handed. Cause see, it started with my grandma. It's a miracle how many seeds got planted. 17 children, still can't understand it. Was almost 18, but wasn't how God planned it. You see, my mom is a lonely twin. The last of 17 because her brother died within. One life for another, one life for my mother. Miracle in our eyes, more life to her brother. You see, that sacrifice gave way to me, so although some fruit got cut from my family tree, I carry on this miracle life and see who I can be. But sometimes these dark nights, they played me. No Gotham City, but these Bridgeport streets get real gritty and no Batman could save me. I had to find my own light, search for God to keep this flame warm, because I remember that cold night, December 13, 2016, I almost took my own life. Took a trip up on a lone flight, a one-way call to heaven, like, I'm on my way, you got my blessings, right? Suicide plagued my mind, a piece of myself that I could not find. There I was, headphones in, couldn't tell you what I was listening to, but it got me thinking that death was better than what I was getting into. So I hopped up, a truck popped up, I ran to meet it, and like a dear old friend, I greeted him, bow! That 1 second was all I needed. Peace.
All right, thank you, really appreciate that.
Thank
now,
you.
how can people follow you and get in touch with you?
Oh, it's on Instagram, baby. So as you see, The Flash, that's my favorite superhero. That new movie, the trailer just dropped for that movie. Shameless plug, go check that out. You can follow me on Instagram at Flash. So it's Flash, F-L-A-S-H, at 29. So A-T 29, because I am 29 up until this year. Big 30s is going up this year, so that's gonna change soon. So.
All right, there you go. I'd like to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to come here on this platform and talk about all the great things that you're doing here in the community.
Thank
and I
you.
wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.